There's always a part of you that changes.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're going over the most important details to know before playing Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
What will I become?
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Release info.
I've dreamt of this. This place of fear and fury.
First, let's get some of the more obvious information out of the way. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is right around the corner, releasing May 21st, 2024. It's been a somewhat long wait since the game was first announced in 2019 alongside the Xbox Series X. Speaking of which, it will also be exclusive to Xbox and PC since Microsoft purchased developer Ninja Theory in 2018.
Until the very last beat fades away.
Players can expect it to be around as long as the first game, which was relatively short, and it will be slightly discounted at $49.99. Those who don't want to pay can enjoy it on Game Pass, where it will launch on the same day. Sad news for physical collectors, though, as Hellblade 2 is a digital-only release. Unreal Engine 5.
With an unshakable truth. Break it with an impossible feat.
The newest iteration of the Unreal Engine is still fairly new, and we're only really beginning to see what it's capable of in games like Tekken 8. Hellblade 2 was built in Unreal Engine 5, and the trailers show the immense difference in visuals. Not that the original Hellblade looked bad by any means.
Focus!
I see you! I see you now!
Additionally, it's being touted as a key reason for players to pay attention. With certain outlets allowed to preview the game, many of them have declared Hellblade 2 as the strongest use of the engine we've seen thus far. Not just from a pure visual standpoint, but from a mechanical one as well. Changes to combat. If you've played the original game, you know its combat can be a bit basic. It isn't bad, of course, it's just that Ninja Theory placed more emphasis on the game's thematic and cinematic qualities. Combat is naturally an aspect the team has improved upon with the sequel, with combat designer Juan Hernandez speaking very highly of the team's work. Not only are they expanding on enemy types, which allows for different approaches to fighting them, but there are significantly more animations in Senua's fighting style to make it look and feel different. Melina Jurgens, the actress behind Senua, has also shared behind-the-scenes videos of her training, which looks intense and promises more dynamic encounters. A story of justice.
Listen. It's coming. He's here. That's my name.
The first Hellblade followed Senua as she entered the underworld, seeking to reclaim the soul of her lost love Dylan from the goddess Hela. While there was no saving him, Senua did find some peace within herself, coming to terms with the voices in her head, known as the Furies. However, Dylan didn't just die. He was murdered by Vikings during the destruction of Senua's home, and sacrificed to their gods in a blood eagle, which is definitely not a good way to go.
Did you think that I would let you go? That you lost me back in the wilds?
Although specifics are unknown, we do know the sequel will take Senua to Iceland, where she and her allies will work to save other victims of the Vikings. We also know Senua's father, who played a villainous role in flashbacks during the first game, will return in some way. Navigating Iceland.
Relying on a location over 800 miles away across the North Atlantic Ocean presents a number of challenges, particularly when ground truth reference is so critical to achieving the level of realism we need.
As we said, the sequel will be set in Iceland, but it isn't just a simple recreation of the country. Director Tamim Antoniades was first inspired to create a sequel by a trip he took there following the first game's release. For Hellblade 2, he and many other team members returned, scouting around 40 unique locations.
So we contacted Saga Film, and over 2 weeks, we went to 40 different locations.
Antoniades wanted everyone to get a real, immersive sense of what Iceland could offer. More than that, the team scanned various parts of the environment to use as assets in the game, and recorded audio as they went to blend the natural world with that of their fictional one. Additionally, Ninja Theory is using flow maps to make clouds move, form, and dissipate naturally as you play.
It was essential that they come and kind of experienced it too. If anything, it's quite exciting to kind of go, look, this is how it feels.
Immersive audio.
A part of you that darkens. And a part of you that dies.
The first game did an incredible job at immersing players through binaural audio. Best represented through surround sound or headphones, it simulates 3D audio in games by having sounds come at you from all directions. It was primarily used for the Furies, the voices in Senua's head, who would often give hints or warnings during combat while also tying in with her mental state.
I rode their storm of fire, death, slavery to many lands.
The sequel is looking to improve the already impressive work here. Not only is the Furies' dialogue going to be enhanced, as we've glimpsed in trailers, but it will also be used to make the environments more detailed and engrossing. Honestly, the first game's audio was such a high point that seeing how Ninja Theory improved it for Hellblade 2 has us giddy with excitement.
What will they do to her? What will we do to us?
A focus on realism.
Much like film and TV, we're now creating real-life costumes that are scanned into the game.
One of the biggest benefits of Unreal Engine 5, at least that Ninja Theory is taking advantage of, is its use of photogrammetry. Essentially, it's the process of taking pictures of real objects and scanning them exactly as they are to bring them into a digital landscape, here, a video game world.
Dan would give me an initial drawing. Then we would have a meeting about breaking it down, so he usually just gives me sort of like one angle.
We've already touched on how Ninja Theory has done this with Iceland, but there are other elements of the game it will be used for that will only make it more realistic. The studio has crafted era-accurate clothing, and even set fire to some of it to capture realistic burn marks. Hellblade 2 already looks to be a visual powerhouse, and photogrammetry will only help.
All the lives inside me tell me to let go. The shadow will always hang over me.
Trick of the eye.
Look towards the gate.
In addition to combat encounters, another way players progressed in the first Hellblade was through visual puzzles. It played into Senua's psychosis, with players using her point of view to match up pieces of an object or symbol, usually a rune, allowing her access to new areas. Those types of puzzles make a return in the sequel. Based on preview footage, it looks like they'll include other objects or parts of the environment. It's unknown if puzzles will expand much more beyond that, however, so fans who weren't too keen on them in the first game may be disappointed in that regard. An authentic soundtrack. Clearly, Ninja Theory is intent on delivering as real and accurate of an experience as it can, and music plays a big part in that. For the first game, composer David Garcia teamed with Norwegian singer and musician Andy Laplegua. Just like everything else, the studio is digging a little deeper here. It has enlisted Scandinavian folk group Heilung to compose the score. Not only was the group brought along on the Iceland trips, but they seem to be a perfect choice both culturally and thematically. Much of their music focuses on folklore and mythology, including the Viking Age and Norse figures like the Valkyrie. Expanding the mythos.
You destroyed everything, everyone, but not me. Fight me now!
In addition to Hela, the first game had Senua contend with the fire giant Surtur, the god of illusions Valraven, and dark, twisted representations of Norsemen. Players can expect elements of Norse mythology to be expanded on here. Previews have already shown more variety in enemy types, one of the ways in which the sequel's combat has been improved.
Yes!
In addition to the Vikings Senua will be seeking justice against, trailers have also shown Draugr and a giant. While whichever gods might show up is obviously being kept secret, we'd be shocked if none of them did. Blood eagles were typically performed in service to Odin, so maybe we'll even get a fight against the Allfather. Are you excited to play Ninja Theory's sequel? Share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great gaming videos every day.